All right, welcome back to Hot Dog Sports episode 3 or 2.5, as Jesse likes to say. For this one, we got a good one. We brought our buddy DB Daniel Bison to come in and make some good hot takes. You know, he's a pretty big Georgia fan like the rest of us, so he's got some strong opinions out there. But boys, missed you guys last week. Didn't see y'all last week, other than Tuesday that Jesse decided to eat the mic the whole time.
Oh, well,
So
dude.
I apologize for us not getting a group.
And it was a
La-
great episode.
yeah. Last week was
It was-
unfortunate. It was
it
a
was
really good
really good.
episode.
It was really good.
We did it for like an hour and a half, and then we realized at the end we were like, "Hey, let's listen to it real quick." And I had the mic too close to my mouth. I guess I don't know.
I don't think it was your fault.
I also
It was a
bought
weird
these new
audio.
mics off of Amazon that like didn't work.
Yeah,
I
we're
think that
balling
might
on a
have-
budget.
Yeah, we're just trying. We're trying to just we just like talk, but
Yeah.
And then we were like, we'll get back together on Thursday, and it's wrestling season, and I had to bail on Thursday. And then I came up with the idea, well, we'll do it on Saturday. And then I spent all day at a wrestling tournament on Saturday, got home, Georgia lost, and I was just texting them, and I was like, not tonight.
How'd your boys do?
We're doing all right. I mean, it's Winder, we're building a program. We've got kids that can compete, man.
You got some athletes.
No, we do. We got kids
You
that
got
can
some
compete.
athletes.
Got a kid on the team that's going to make a run this year if he can stay healthy and stay where we need him to stay. We got a few others that if they can get to where we need them to get there, then and then as a team we'll see what happens towards the end of the year. But
Yeah.
But we ain't talking about wrestling today.
Nope.
We're talking about the Georgia Bulldogs.
The dogs are not hot. The
Dogs are not hot.
Dogs aren't looking too good.
I want to start with this. There's nobody in this room that probably can't stand Mike Bobo more than me. But Mike Bobo did not lose us that football game. The offensive line could not hold a block. Tate Ratledge, the best preseason offensive lineman, got obliterated the first few drives, took him out. Offensive line couldn't block. Wide receivers can't catch the football. The University of Georgia, leading the nation in drop passes, is the most depressing stat I've ever read in my life. And then you have a defense who can't cover the middle of the field. But Mike Bobo's play calling is not good. But Mike Bobo did not lose us that football game.
I mean, I absolutely agree. Obviously, I don't think Mike Bobo in the past has been issues. You date all the way back to Mike Bobo in the Matthew Stafford era, right? He was phenomenal. He had a bad year with Joe Cox, which we all remember the Joe Cox area. And then we had Aaron Murray, and those you make that face, but that offense was averaging about 25 plus points a game, which at that time when you ran the football sufficed.
Who made the face, right?
Yeah, and Jesse, and
Hey,
that's
Jesse?
fine. That's fine. All right. Now, and then my next thing, and that is 2013. Right, Mike Bobo leaves and he goes to Colorado State. That offense immediately does what for the next 3 to 4 years before the Kirby Smart era? It plummets. Don't act like it was good. It went bad. Now that being said,
you didn't have the athletes.
you didn't. You had Hudson Mason, Grayson Lambert.
Hudson Mason owns the greatest game in Georgia history as far as completion.
No, that's
percentage.
Grayson Lambert.
That's what I said. Did I not say Grayson?
You said
Lambert?
Hudson Mason.
Oh, my bad. You're right. My bad.
You're good. That's 2015 against South Carolina. That was like a week 2
I was
game.
at that game.
Yes, it
Great
was a
game.
great game. But overall, the whole point I'm trying to make is I know Mike Bobo necessarily to fans has not been good. I totally agree. I totally understand the perspective of the situation. That being said, I date back to when Todd Monken left, and I feel very strongly about this as well. You already had your 2 next offensive coordinators that were already in that room, and you passed upon them to hire Mike Bobo. And that was either 1, Todd Hartley, or 2, whichever one. I started seeing this a lot, and I've been high on him as well. And I know for a fact he would come back, Buster Faulkner. I mean, his sons still live in Oconee County. His son still goes to North Oconee High School, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that, well, even Matt Luke, who went to Clemson,
Yeah.
which he's enemy number 1 for me. His son still goes to North Oconee.
Yeah.
I would like to argue a point you said earlier, saying that the few years leading up before Kirby got there, there were not that. Those 3 years, we went 10-3 back-to-back years.
And which years?
13, 14, 15.
13, 14, and 15.
Mm-hmm.
And what year did Mike Bobo leave?
While he Googles that, I just want to ask you, and we can do this around the room, okay? Do you think Mike Bobo returns as the offensive coordinator next year?
Yes, but he shouldn't.
I'm starting with DB, Brandon. You're Googling.
So this is a two-parter for me. Okay.
No, it's just a yes or no question.
Well, all right. Here's my
Simplify the answer.
Here's my answer then. No. My answer is no. Because if there's one thing Kirby Smart should have learned under Nick Saban, who we all argue is probably one of the greatest college football coaches of all time, when you see something bleeding and dying, you get rid of it in the moment. And that is something he struggled with early in his career with Jim Chaney and then with James Coley. And he learned and he went and got Todd Monken. And I hope he learned from this mistake.
Yes, he'll be back.
That's it. You're just gonna leave it at that.
He'll be back.
I hope that we can catch fire in a bottle. I think if you end the season on a high note, then maybe maybe he returns, but you got to see something to make him return. But I mean, at this rate, no, Bobo's gone.
I think he comes back just because Kirby Smart is so loyal to him and won't get rid of him. But he should not be back in Athens.
Agreed.
And if I see one more screen pass before the end of the year, I'm going to a Prince Avenue football
Okay.
game and exchanging words with Mike Bobo.
So
It's
here-
ridiculous.
Okay. Yes, Bobo will be back. Kirby has not even addressed or thought to address Bobo in the media. And you saw what happened with Chaney. Kirby had no problem throwing Chaney under the bus. He did not like Chaney. Him and Bobo are boys. They went back. They played together. Mike Bobo's son is our backup center. Gunnar Stockton followed Mike Bobo to Georgia. Kirby has a lot invested in Mike Bobo. I think Bobo could do a better job. But I also think the entire offense as a collective whole could do a much better job. I can't point the finger at Bobo. I can't point just the finger at Beck. I can't point the finger just at receivers or O-line. It's a collective effort how bad it's been. There were plays where Beck missed open receivers downfield. Right? Now, I don't know if Beck's confidence is completely shaken. He doesn't look like the same guy. He looks scared. He looks terrified. The offensive line, the schemes were not set up to be successful for him. That is the one thing I fault Bobo in the Ole Miss game, is you have a defensive line that is so much more athletic than our offensive line.
Get the ball to the outside.
Get the ball to the outside, or you go hat for hat. You go hat for hat, straight up. You don't do any of these schemes where you're pulling because we're getting whipped in the gap, whether it's the A gap or the B gap. You got guys pulling, cracking down, running counters. Your gap scheming. They were quicker. They were quicker. Every time Etienne or Frazier got the ball,
They're in the backfield.
they were dodging for their life to get a yard.
It's like Beck's getting sacked. Like
Yes.
getting,
But then you have to kind of circle back. Does Beck's play affect the call? Yeah, absolutely.
oh, for sure. I mean, that offense was very vanilla compared to what we've seen in the past.
Absolutely.
I mean, how often in that game did you see Beck go up the line and check out of something or like change? He couldn't change protection, right? Because I mean, you've got dudes not in their positions.
Yes.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
wasn't Ratledge at right guard or something?
Correct.
I mean, like, I think that's.
And can we say though, it's Beck's fault for not throwing it deep? Well, does Beck trust his receivers?
Does he
There's guys
think
that
he
drop
does he
the
trust
ball.
having time?
He can't trust the receivers. Does he have time? There's
Can he keep his
schemes
eyes
not-
downfield?
Dude, it is a shipwreck. This offense is honestly makes you want to vomit when you watch it. And it's like you just want somebody to come in and just like help it, but it's like a collective whole. Like I don't know how you fix it.
I have a kind of semi-hot take, I guess you could say. I would argue that Carson Beck is nowhere near as good as what people thought he was last year. The only reason he was the way he was is because he had Lad McConkey and Brock Bowers, two of the most generational talents, and our offensive line was way better last year. I mean, look at the game against Auburn. If Brock Bowers isn't in that game against Auburn at Auburn last year, we lose that game. But instead, he goes for 130, and it was either 1 or 2 touchdowns. Brock Bowers took over that game.
Lad McConkey missed most of that season, the first half with back issues, and Bowers was in and out for 4 or 5 weeks with a tightrope surgery. You can't say it was just those two guys, even though those two guys were freaks. And if those two guys were healthy, I definitely think we go back to back to back. I mean, you saw Bowers like dragging his leg basically in that SEC championship game, putting everything he had on the line, and that's why Brock Bowers is my top 3 dog of all time.
But
But
Brock Bowers
you-
was 100% healthy in that SEC championship game. He was 100% healthy 3 weeks before when we played Ole Miss at home.
there's no
Yes, he
incorrect.
was.
Just like Tate Ratledge is
Yes,
not
he
100% healthy right now. That tightrope surgery, I don't care who you are, what kind of, if you have played any kind of high level sport, those injuries linger. He's not 100%. He's definitely
Yeah, and
enough to go, but he was not 100%.
Yeah, and just taking the time off and trying to get back into that.
You got to have
right,
the repetition.
at that high of a level. You're not, even if you are healthy, you're not the same
No.
as you were.
I can speak highly on the tightrope surgery. I had one of myself on my left ankle my junior year of college.
Please dive into that.
I mean, so I have this surgery in December. 2 months later, I step on a mound, which I know it's apples to oranges, right? Pitching's completely different versus being on a football field. I totally understand that, but was not the same whatsoever from there on out. I felt like I had nothing on my leg, and it took a very long time, almost a year, to be back to where I was. And look at Brock Bowers now, a year later in the NFL.
Yeah.
He is absolutely killing it.
Right,
in
but
my
he's had
opinion.
the proper training camp. He's
Absolutely.
in football mode,
So
and he never had to get into recovery mode.
I want to dive back to the comment of last year. To me, what's different from this offense versus last year, while I do agree O-line play is there, it's the running the football. Now, I know we weren't necessarily the biggest run the football team last year. It was a lot more balanced, right? But Kendall Milton and Dejon Edwards, all right, let's be honest. We did not realize how much those guys actually helped us be a better football team.
Yeah, but let me ask you this: would you say Georgia has better running backs this year than they did last year? Because I would.
No, I would.
I know I would. I think that you've got between Etienne and Frazier. Now, granted, Etienne's not been 100% healthy, right? And Frazier's a young freshman, and that Ole Miss game.
Sorry, go ahead.
Georgia does not have a physical running back that they
No,
had
so
last
Wrong.
here's my thing. Here's
That is not wrong.
my
Nate Frazier is the most downhill running back I have
Nate
seen at
Frazier
Georgia
is
in the
not a
last 3 or
hair
4
on
years.
Kendall Milton's butt last year.
I don't care. Kendall Milton didn't have the burst. Like, you can't tell me you can watch this kid as a freshman and not say this kid's going to play pro ball.
Kendall Milton didn't have the burst.
No, Kendall Milton was running
What
through
season were you
quicksand,
watching
dude.
last
He's
year?
a step slower. He was.
and it's hard to say that Kendall Milton did have it because Kendall did have a lot of surgeries and
Right, he was
hurt for a
banged
long-
up all the
He was
time.
banged up all the time, whatnot. But like to me, it's more of a Etienne. We thought he was going to be the guy, right?
Yes.
And I made this comment the other night. We expected him to be the guy, right? When's the last time we saw a Georgia running back grab the football and at least touch it 20 plus times? And you haven't since DeAndre Swift, in my opinion.
Swift, but I mean, we almost we went on a run there for a while, right? We had like Gurley and Marshall, and then you had Michelle, and then Chubb comes in, and it was like, dude, these running backs would just take over a game. And your quarterback, it didn't even matter that we had subpar quarterback play, right? I mean,
You had Jake Fromm.
that's what I'm saying. Like, Jake Fromm was the king of slants. You know why? Because every time the ball was snapped, those linebackers were immediately watching the ball, coming downfield, and then there's a wide receiver running right behind them.
Absolutely.
You know?
But also, I feel like we say all this, and I agree, but like besides Genty at Boise State, right? A running back, I'm not saying is not needed.
The
anymore.
game's not the same.
The game is
Yeah.
not the same.
It's not
so
as
that's
running
where
dependent.
that's where I say, but like that's my big thing as far as it's not necessarily a physicality and better talent. For me, it's a mature aspect. Our running back room to me this year versus last year is not the most mature.
No, they're young.
I don't think the O-line is mature. I don't
Yeah.
think this secondary's to me the difference is this is not what I call a mature Georgia football team.
But how many games? And I'm looking at the stats right here going over last year. If you look at 2 or 3 different games, Kendall Milton had over 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then in that same game, Edwards has 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. I don't care what y'all say. None of those running backs we have this year are going to do that. None.
Not the same team.
Doesn't matter if it's the same team. Y'all are making the argument that the running backs this year are better than last year. No, they're not.
I'm on you.
They are not.
I
They
think
are not even close to
they
being
are.
better than. No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, the stats say no.
Stats are for losers.
No,
Hashtag-
stats are.
hashtag- Hashtag stats are for losers, dude. Just
You know who would say that
listen
statement?
here.
Someone who's wrong, and you're wrong.
Listen. Well, this is where we're
Watch
gonna
the
go.
tape.
Yeah,
Kendall
watch-
Milton looks all the running backs we have on the team
Open
this
your
year look
eyes
horrible.
and just watch Trevor Etienne run the ball.
Trevor Etienne is
3
probably
touchdowns against a beefy Texas line. Okay, that was an amazing game. I don't care who you are. Nobody's been successful running against Texas. Etienne went down
is
there and
very
scored 3
shifty and
times.
good.
He's
Etienne is
shifty.
not a good
He's
hard-nosed
strong.
downhill runner.
Absolutely.
he's-
Etienne's closer to Swift than he is to
Yes.
But,
Yes.
And that's the style of offense you see us playing like we had when we had Swift. To me, it's more quick in and out. That's my opinion. It's quicker to the boundaries. It's quicker outside. There's not a lot of just...
Look,
Georgia does not have a running back on their roster this year that can do what Kendall Milton did last year when you hand the ball off the middle and he goes and breaks one.
The only running back going into the year that I thought was Nick Chubb-esque was Branson Robinson. Okay, and what do we see right away? Branson's what he's doing. What at the line? He can't make up his mind.
Yeah,
he doesn't know where to hit.
He's going horizontal.
He's going horizontal. He's shift. Yeah. Okay. Blah blah blah. And we know that it's what he had a bad injury, right? An Achilles. Okay. He missed all of last year. He came in, right? Doesn't look comfortable. Mississippi State looked like he was getting it wrong. Okay. This is where I was talking to my buddy Kale a little bit about running schemes and stuff, and you see a zone. So if you call a zone run, right? You're giving the running back an option, right, to either hit a gap or skip outside.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's not based to just hit a gap where an ISO or a power or a gap scheme would be like a counter, right? So you see Branson and he's shifting his feet. Could that have just been zone calls that wasn't fit his play style where you could have called a power scheme and say, hey, Branson, A gap. Hit it hard as you can.
I'm pretty sure like all the running plays that are like designed running plays are zones now because they're letting like the players are making more decisions on their own now. Like to me,
it's like an RPO for a running back.
And I said this several times in those, like in that Clemson game we watched together. It's like he can't make the decision.
He was
like that's what makes like Frazier. That's why almost having these young cats come in plays early as they do, right, is so important because in high school football, they're just saying, bro, you're hitting that gap, okay?
Yeah.
And that's typically open. And if it's not open, then you're going to bounce it regardless. It's what you do from a young age. You see Frazier make that one step and he's downhill.
Yeah.
ETN makes the one step and he's downhill. Branson couldn't do that. Branson couldn't make his decision.
He couldn't. And it was like that lack of experience of not having that whole
I think it's lack of confidence.
Lack of confidence, lack of experience. He wouldn't trust in the leg. Now, I'm telling you, though, the Mississippi State game, you saw it coming back.
Started to figure it out.
He started figuring it out. He was running hard. He was getting it back. And unfortunately, goes down immediately again with another leg injury. Don't know what the situation is there. Another guy that, pops up a lot on my feed is like, where is he at? Is Roderick Robinson.
They talked about him,
you
too.
Want to
and
talk about
they talked
a
about him.
bruiser? You want to talk about a bruiser? This dude's 240 pounds. This dude's built like Jerome Bettis. We saw him last year. He's got great vision. That's a guy that does trust his
He's
eyes.
a downhill
He's
dude.
a downhill guy. He's strong.
He was supposed to. We don't like. I'll tell you. I'll give you this, bro. We don't have a Kendall Milton. We have Dejon. We have a bunch of Dejon Edwards. Okay, but you're pulling up stats, and I don't know if those stats tell the full story. Georgia did not throw the ball on first down last year. They didn't, and they do this year. Like I would be interested to see the running attempts, and it might be because you don't trust the running game.
And
coming
how about
into the season? Branson's coming off an energy. Etienne had an incident off season, right? And you've got this young kid from Compton that is lighting up practice, but he doesn't know the blocking scheme, so he can't be an every down guy. It's like you can't trust your running back room. We've got to put it all on our superstar number 1 overall quarterback.
And what's happened?
He's shrunk.
He's plummeted.
He is shrinking before our eyes.
This is a different offense, and it's hard. It's easier to scheme a run when you know you don't have to fear the pass.
Well, there's things that, and I guess we can get back to that Bobo topic, right? To me, Kirby getting Bobo, and when he got Bobo, I was very upset because that was like the comfortable move. A guy that's been here before. Fans won't throw a fit because they know Bobo. Yeah, he had decent statistic years or above average statistic years before with this team, and he's Kirby's guy. Okay? But what made me uncomfortable about it was he's never won it all wherever he's been. They've never lit it up, right? I mean, we saw Joe Brady when he had the athletes he had at LSU. What happened?
He wasn't even the OC.
That's what I'm saying. He just uses the passing coordinator.
He was a quarterback. Yeah, he was just literally the QB coach and like the assistant OC.
That's what I'm saying. So like, I'm like, dude, you're the University of Georgia Bulldogs. You're telling me that there's not a young cat out there that wants to come and be your offensive coordinator or be your passing coordinator, and you can't get him in the door to make this team electric? I mean, defense does not win games anymore. And Kirby is really showing that he doesn't know the offensive side of the ball because he's putting dudes in charge and he's like putting all his faith in Beck. Beck is unsuccessful.
I'm going to disagree with that statement 110% about defense doesn't win championships. If the defense does not play the way they did against Texas, Texas steamrolls us.
Yes. Look at
You just said defense doesn't win game. That's not true. If the defense wouldn't have played like they did against Texas, we would have lost. I mean, the way with Beck played and everything. But while we're on this time, I'm going to go back to one thing real quick. Last year, how many rushing touchdowns do you think Edwards and Milton combined for?
probably about 28.
Yeah, 28, sure.
27. You know how many rushing touchdowns we have this year between those two? 10.
We're not running the ball.
We're not running the ball.
I know, but
We
I'm
haven't
just
scored
saying.
half
Like,
the touchdowns we scored last year.
We when's the last time Georgia thrown the ball 50 times in a game?
against Mississippi State.
Dude, we threw the ball 31 times against Mississippi State. Or no, excuse me,
No,
Ole Miss.
yeah.
Ole Miss. I'm sorry, Ole Miss. Yeah, okay, Mississippi State. You're right, correct. It's different offense. It's a panicked. It's a scared. It's
But
a
that
fragile.
just
it's not a
furthers
good
my
offense.
point
No,
about how we
and
don't
to-
have those
to
good
what-
running backs
to
we
what-
did last
Hold
year.
on. Can I say something real quick?
To what? Okay.
You say the Texas game is an example of defense can win games for you. No, defense has done their job all year for Georgia. The one game they didn't do their job was the Bama game, right? But they locked it down that second half. How many points did Texas score against Georgia?
15.
15. It was 30-15, right? How many points did Ole Miss score against Georgia?
28.
28, okay? And that was a late touchdown at the end because the offense kept turning the ball over, okay? You entered the fourth quarter in that game with an opportunity if the offense did what? Scored touchdowns, you had an opportunity to be in that game. Defense kept you in that game, although the offense kept shooting you, right? They kept putting you in bad spots. The defense has done their part, but I'm telling you, bro, if in college football, if you don't score, you're not going to win because it's so hard to keep teams out the end zone.
Totally agree. So then answer me this question. 2021, Georgia defense. 2022, I give both sides. We were a complete team. 2023, Michigan. What do 2021 and 2023 have in common?
Elite defenses.
No, look. Okay. I guess I should say
what-
defense can't win you championships anymore. Okay, they can't.
But they haven't.
They have.
the last 4 years.
You're looking at anomalies. Don't even give me COVID year. Bama fans, COVID year doesn't count. That's a fake season. 2019, unbelievable LSU, right? We agree on that. 2018, Clemson, the Power Rangers, that defensive line, that defense carried that year.
Yes.
2017,
But teams still scored on them.
not 20
No.
plus points.
Yes.
Okay, so you're telling me that if Georgia held right Texas to 15 points, but yet our offense could only score 14 points, right? That's what I'm saying. So like
I'm gonna-
offense has to
okay.
score. Offense has to keep pace with what your defense is doing.
I'm gonna throw some help for Jesse. The 2021 Georgia offense wasn't bad. It was a good offense.
No. That's not what I'm
An
saying.
elite defense.
They scored enough points.
But listen, so an elite defense, right? An offense that is bad can make it so challenging for defense, given
Yeah.
the 3 and outs, the field position, the turnovers, the fumbles.
Like, dude.
It can make it almost impossible for a defense to keep up, right? We had an offense to go with it. Michigan had a decent, they had a decent staff on offense, right? Yes, the defense outshined the offense, right? But an elite defense cannot win you a championship with a subpar offense.
Agreed. So, Dan, let me say this: who's the goat? Who's the goat of college football coaching?
Nick Saban.
Nick Saban. So the last one Nick Saban won was 2020.
Believe me, Kirby.
Right, I believe in Kirby. Last one, 2017. Bama fans suck it. That's Kirby Smart's defense, right? So 2017, 2020. I'll give you pre-2015.
That's good.
Pre-2015. What did all those teams have in common that Nick Saban won with? What all were all
They
were
had-
they?
they had elite
Elite
defense.
defense. Okay, and then here's my next point. Jesse. What did the offense do? They just matched whatever the defense did. They didn't have to run up the score.
You're exactly right.
Okay, so
But like
elite
my whole
defenses-
point is like that's what I'm saying. Like
Okay, so when's the last time an elite offense won a national championship?
Hold up. I'm about. So that year we won the Natty.
Give him the mic, give him the mic, give him the mic.
We allowed 10 or less points in 9 games. 9 out of the 12 in the regular season. It doesn't matter if your offense is subpar or not. If your defense is if your defense is allowing if your defense is allowing 10 or less points,
the game.
Field position.
Y'all aren't listen. Let me see
elite defenses will and always will win you championships.
Absolutely, especially when you're able to, one, have a
Yes.
high havoc rate,
Yeah.
and two, allow the offense to be in the position where they're on the
No,
ball on their side
the
of
game
60.
is so stacked against the defense that they've made it to where that can't happen anymore, right? Like that's what makes. And I'm not saying that to discredit how great Georgia's defenses have been. That's what makes them even better, right? If you can hold a team to 10 points in college football, you did something because you don't see that anymore. Okay, teams are putting up 21 to 28 points on average. That's just the reality of it. Okay, and so if you hold an Ole Miss team to 28 points when the offense did as bad as they did. I mean, that's not a bad defensive performance if you hold them what you did.
Well, that's because you're
The Iowa Hawkeyes year in and year out have a top college football defense.
playing the Big Ten, not a real conference.
Exactly, but they can't even compete in the Big
But they
Ten.
can't compete in the Big Ten, and they struggle because of how bad their offense.
They had more
is.
punting
But
yards
their-
than passing yards
Their
last
their
year.
their defense is very stout.
Yes.
I mean, it's fantastic, but their offense is so opposite.
Like,
Terrible.
yeah, like I can't get I'm telling you, like you have to have a good enough offense.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, yes,
it can't be like it
Above
used
average.
to be. It used to be the Ravens won a Super Bowl back in the day, right? With the best defense, but that was because you could hit the quarterback, right? They didn't throw flags when you touched the receiver. Like it was gritty football that we grew up with. They've changed the game, okay? And so they made it so hard against the defense that teams are going to score, all right? And so your offense has to keep pace with what's scoring. Georgia's offense can't keep pace, and it makes our defense look so bad. Our defense, dude, we're loaded with dudes that are going to play NFL football. Mikael Williams, Warren Brinson, right, like Malachi. Our linebacker room is the best in the nation. But when you punt the ball and they now have the ball on the 50-yard line, they're going to come away with points. They are. That's just the reality of the game now. And so our offense has gotten so bad, it makes our defense look so bad. But it's not fair.
I agree.
It's not fair.
No, it's not fair. But I just go back to the point you stated when you started this. Elite defenses don't do what anymore, you said?
They can't win championships on their own.
Again, that's false.
No, I stand by
False.
that, dude.
Very
false.
false.
You can't have a bad offense in a phenomenal defense and win a football game.
Really? Look at
All
the
right,
Kansas
hold
City
on.
Chiefs this
Can I
year.
see
You
that?
talk about pro football. That offense has been terrible.
No.
Now, I love Patrick Mahomes.
No.
He's
No.
number 2.
He has not had
No.
a year he's had in the
No.
last 3 years.
Yeah. Absolutely.
just made an argument that the best quarterback in the NFL is winning because his defense is so great. He's playing that bad.
Yes.
Let's go down this list right here.
Look
And
at
this-
their turnovers. Like that's the number you got to look at. Look at turnovers.
Hey, we're going to go down this list right here. This is the top 10 scoring defenses in the country. And you tell me if they have an elite offense or not.
Okay.
Because Army, no. Can everybody agree? Does
Their
Army have?
quarterback leads the nation in
No.
touchdowns.
Hold on. Did you say
They're not an elite offense. I don't care what you say.
Oh
They're
my
not
God!
No.
First off, don't you dare diss America's team like that.
For real,
Don't
man.
you?
Oh,
Don't
well,
you?
day after
you
Veterans
keep,
Day?
You keep America's team out
Okay,
of your
so
mouth.
let's keep going down.
Army's offense
talking.
is
I
so
don't care.
legit. That quarterback,
quarterback-
is
It
a
is
freak.
not
I just
legit.
watched that offense go 94 yards, take up 13 minutes, and do what they want to do. That quarterback,
Who'd they play?
again, that quarterback can lead my
North
country.
Texas.
Right, but you want to brag about their
Wow.
scoring defense.
No,
And then you wanna
no.
discredit
You
their numbers.
you
You
were
just
about
beat
to.
your own argument.
You were proving my
No, did he
point.
not?
You were proving my point
Keep
right
going,
here.
Brandon.
So let's see. Ohio State. No.
Not an elite offense.
No. Notre Dame.
Not an
no.
elite offense.
Texas.
Not an elite offense.
Tennessee.
Not an elite offense.
Ole Miss.
Not an elite offense.
Wait.
Indiana.
Well, Ole Miss, I argue.
Ole Miss, yes.
No,
Ole
y'all aren't
Miss.
making arguments at all. Y'all are just going off of a
No,
list.
no, no,
that,
no.
A whole crap list that
I'm
y'all
kinda
are talking
confused.
This
What
is
are we
the
going
best
over?
scoring
Top 10
defenses in the
scoring
country.
defenses.
Okay.
This is the best scoring defenses in the country. So do you mean to tell me that Indiana and Penn State have a good No. No.
But what are they? They're top 10
They're
football
great
teams.
in defense, and guess where they're ranked in the they're all probably ranked inside the top 10. You know why? Elite defenses. End of discussion.
No, I do want to ask this, just so we can make it fair. Pull up the top 10 offenses.
Hold on. Was Texas on that list
Yeah.
of not good offenses?
Let me say, okay.
Was that what
That,
was
dude,
just said?
they
That was just was
that was the
just
most-
ran by me.
That was the most biased
That
thing
was
I've ever
terrible.
seen in my life.
How's that biased? That's just numbers.
That's
Again,
numbers.
I guess stats are for
Notre
losers.
Dame has one of the top 10 scoring defenses, but they lost to NIU.
They also beat A&M.
Oh my gosh! Don't you think they could beat NIU if they had a phenomenal defense? If you can win championships, guys, you're not proving your point. You're
Yes,
not.
we are.
This
You're
is-
not.
we
You're
are.
You're not proving
You're
your point.
top 10
hold
offense.
on.
No,
You didn't let me argue
Hey,
it.
number one offense in the country is Miami. What do they have? A defense that allows 40, 50 points a game. Miami's offense is fantastic,
They're
but
great.
they don't have a defense.
No, so
And they
hold
will
on.
That's not the
they're not
argument. That's not the
doing
argument.
That's not
the
you're
argument.
you're
That's not the argument.
misconstruing the argument.
Yeah,
You're
that's not the
saying
argument.
that
You're saying
because I
an
said
elite
you
defense.
can't win with a phenomenal defense, you have to have some form of
But
offense.
what do all these
Stop
top
talking
teams
for a
in the
second.
country have in
You're
common?
trying to
Elite
associate.
defenses.
You're trying to associate that. Well, if they have great
This is so
offenses, they
good.
should blow everybody out. No,
It's
you
okay
have to have
admit
good
you're
offense
wrong
and good
every
defense.
once in a while, Jesse.
You have
You're
to have-
wrong.
You're not. No, I'm
You're
not
wrong.
wrong.
Who's number
he's-
2?
Jesse is not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
You have to have complimentary
Here's
football
a
in this day and
a
age.
crazy thing for you. Ole Miss is in my top 4 to win the Natty for the rest of the year.
Nobody cares.
Who's number 3? No.
Ole Miss has a
Yeah.
good
We're
defense.
gonna
Ole Miss has a
Texas.
great defense and a great
North
offense.
Texas.
Okay, move on.
Yeah, North Texas just lost to Army. Top 10 defense, right? Go ahead. Next.
Top 10 offense.
Boise.
They just lost to them. Boise.
Oh yeah, they have Ginty, so
Yeah.
they're just running on
Fine. Then you
everybody.
have Clemson in there. Really?
All right,
Yeah.
hold on. All right, so okay.
So what is that offense that this offense right here that's in the top 5? What did that offense do?
At this point,
against
I'm confused.
Georgia at the first 3 points.
Georgia has a great
Elite
defense.
defenses
Georgia has a great
win you
defense.
Football games.
Yeah, elite.
Georgia
Yeah,
has a
Elite
great
defenses
defense.
Win championships. still.
No.
This was championships, not football.
So if
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
gonna say
yeah,
so, let me
they
ask
win
this. So if you're saying Georgia, you just said Georgia has an elite defense.
Yes.
I agree that Georgia has an elite defense.
Yeah.
Why are we losing
Why are we
football games?
losing? That is the point.
Because our offense can't keep pace.
I don't want to say checkmate,
this is
but
the
Jesse
reality
has
of
a
it.
great
Offense
point
can't keep
right there.
pace.
You
it's-
just proved Jesse's point.
It's not. Yeah,
The
go.
reason
No,
the
no.
offense can't
So-
keep
Okay.
pace is because your quarterback.
All right, I'm
All
gonna
right,
say
all
this.
right, hold on. Closing remarks. I'm gonna let DB and Brandon make their closing remarks, and we
Okay.
gotta move on to the next thing.
No, I'm
Okay.
done.
So this is
We've
my
proved our point.
Yeah, this is my closing remark on that case. All right, this is my favorite time of the year, right? Georgia lost the game. They looked bad. Right? We're all gonna sit here and freak out. I'm bad about it too. Okay, I'm so bad about it.
Why are you talking to me like I'm a kid?
Because you are a child.
Because you're acting
You
like
eat-
one.
You eat chicken tenders every minute. It's okay.
No, I
Right?
can't anymore.
Yeah, I know.
This is
Sorry, buddy.
This is
But like, my point is, this is the part where Kirby Smart looks at us and says, "Oh, okay, that's how you feel. Watch this." And this is where no, this is where
A little late, Kirby.
No, it's not.
No,
No, it's not with a 12-team
Because you have a
playoff.
12-team expanded playoff, you can drop 2 games and you're still
Still
in.
in.
Guys, you realize we got to beat Tennessee this week, right?
Yeah, hey, and I'm gonna make a hot take. You ready for this hot take? Since this defense, this elite defense Georgia has, will not give up more than 9 points.
Okay, but this offense
will
may
agree
not
with
score
that.
more than 3.
No, but I will agree with that because Tennessee's quarterback is not good, but Tennessee also has one of the top-ranked defenses in the country.
No,
So
Tennessee
this
has.
is going, yes,
they have a
no,
phenomenal
don't
running
know
game.
me. It's right here in red or white and black. Yes, they do. They have an elite defense, and you cannot argue that.
I wasn't arguing that they have
No,
elite
no, no.
defense. I was saying no, they're going to run the ball. That's how they take care of their. Their
obviously,
rookie
it's a gimmick
quarterback.
Offense. Josh Heupel, you suck, by the way. Everyone's figured it
It's
out.
Heupel, by the way.
Or whatever it is, freaking Caillou Jr. You're all right. I don't care. All right. And then it's just my closing remark.
So no, hey, this game Saturday. Here's my prediction for the game. I don't know what the over under is on that game.
Oh my! Did they do the rankings?
Over under is
Yes.
48.5 for the Georgia game. There is
It's-
no way that happens because Tennessee has the 3rd ranked red zone defense in the country and the 4th ranked overall defense.
It's on screen.
So I mean,
my drops. I'm gonna have to make a swap. But okay, all right. So I think.
so to wrap this up, DB, me and you were right. These two are bozos.
Prove anything.
Yeah. What
I
do you
can-
mean we didn't prove anything?
Dude, I can counter argument everything that you said, and I also genuinely feel like a lot of the points you said, they
backed up
backed us up. Like I don't think that y'all thought through a lot of the stuff that you brought up. You were like, let's look at the top 10 defenses, and I'm like, I can.
Hey,
first off, they're playing cupcake schedules. Okay.
You mean to tell me that Tennessee and Texas and
All right.
Ole Miss are playing cupcake schedules? That
So
is
we're
the
cupcake
dumbest
team now.
thing
That's
you
right.
have
Here we
said
go.
all night.
All right.
That is stupid.
Next thing. Okay.
That is so dumb.
At church Sunday, I'm sitting there and we're talking about Georgia football. Okay, and it's cool, kind of cool to hear like other fans' opinions. Aren't super gurus like we are. Like
We're casuals. We got to be honest. We're like casuals
yeah, you
that
two
just.
were casuals, all right.
Right.
This has been proven in the last
Well,
10 minutes.
You don't have the mic on you right
I
now,
don't
so
care.
people can't hear
They
you.
can hear me.
How dare you? I watch Brooke Austin like 3 times a week.
No. So if you let me finish, we're casuals in the sense that we've never coached football, right? but we also pour more of our time into this stuff than the
Correct.
average person.
This is what we care about.
Yes.
And it's cool because I'm sitting there talking, and like you talk to these, like the Georgia fan base, we're very aggressive. Obviously, we can tell we're a very aggressive group, right? But what makes us so aggressive, right? And the kind of the quote one of my buddies at church said, he was like, well, he's like, we're blue collar guys. He's like, and every week, we go to work and we look forward to the weekend, and we want to watch the dogs play, right? And then he was kind of making a point, like it irritated him so bad to see Carson Beck smiling with 2 minutes to go. Like, he works his butt off week in and week out to get to that weekend, to have that release, that time to like dive into Georgia football. And then we're invested and we expect Georgia to win, and Georgia's not winning. And then you see your superstar quarterback is giggling, with 3 minutes to go. So what's kind of y'all's take on that giggle thing? I know Carson Beck's mom kind of came out and talked about it, and Jaden Rashada's dad was like, my son tries to make light of this conversation. But what's your take on your quarterback down 18, 3 minutes to go, and he's chopping it up on the sideline?
You can take it, buddy.
So, I'll just say this.
You take it after him.
At first, right? Obviously, emotions of the game, right? I just watched a Kirby Smart football team for the first time in a very, 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 very long time be out physical than what I felt like. Okay. So obviously, at first, I'm like, "What are you doing?" Right? But then I sit back and I reflect, and to be honest with you, I don't care. I don't care that he was smiling. Like, to be honest, looking back now, I don't care. Right? If I freaking hated my job. Right? I hated my job being a pitcher. Right? Because if I sucked, I had it like our big thing in baseball, Bo. You know this. What do you have to do? Act like you get. If you suck, you come off the mound. What do you have to do? You have to pick up your teammates. You have to care about them. Know what they do. Right? Like, that's just all part of it. I don't care. I really don't. All right, because at the end of the day, there's one thing we know for sure. We're not in there, right? Do I feel like it could have been handled different, could have been approached different? Yes, absolutely. Right, but if this is 1980, where there's not media cameras absolutely everywhere, would we even be having this discussion that this kid smiled on the sideline?
No.
Would we even care that Jake Pope, by the way, idiot as well, I agree, was even on freaking after the game seeing his best friend and jumping up and down? No, these kids are younger than us.
Yeah. Wow.
These kids are younger than us. Let's put that in perspective, right? So I don't care if he's smiling. All right, because there's one thing I am going to do, right? I do doubt a lot of things. But Kirby Smart has damn given us 2 national championships that we did not have pre-Kirby Smart.
In the last 40 years.
In the last 40 years. So I'm good with it.
Brandon?
I also don't care.
Okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, I would argue that it's the same thing. Like, if you go out and play a bad round of golf, I'm going to give you crap for it, and I'm going to cut jokes to try to make you laugh. I would do that with all my buddies. Like, that's all he was trying to do. People are just looking into this too deep. He just played horrible. His buddy's just there to, hey, man, let me try to make you feel a little bit better because you just crapped all over the field.
I think it's one of those, what do you want him to do, sit there and cry? It was a bad time to be on camera. Mm-hmm. I mean, how many times have you done something bad or messed up and you think about it, you're like shaking your head and you got a smile on your face because you can't even believe you did that. Kid's thrown how many picks? 12 picks on the year, He threw 6 last year? Something like that, right? I mean, I think he's genuinely in the moment thinking about what's going on. Like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. And so I don't have no problem with it. I love, honestly, it said more to me about Jaden Rashada's character in leadership, right? You're the 3rd string quarterback and you're sitting over there telling this dude, probably trying to lift him up in that moment, right? I don't know. I mean, I don't fault him at all.
When you look back at the Florida game, every time you went to Beck, he was like, what? Like,
oh, he's down, he's out.
Right.
Yeah, his head's down. He can't believe what's going on. I mean,
and I know Beck kind of talked about how he had like an awakening this past week, kind of like trying to get himself mentally right, even though on the field it didn't look like he was confident at all. Like, he was just scared, and like the play calling was scared, right? But
how hard is it for a quarterback to be confident when he doesn't have a receiver who could catch a cold?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And not just that. How confident can a quarterback be when this very freaking loyal, ferocious fan base is going on social media left and right,
Well-
talking in the street like, who is this guy? You can't do it. This isn't what you were last year. How dare you? You know, you're costing me all these emotions. Like, really? Like, how are you going to operate then?
Yeah, and so I saw something on Twitter that was a very good point. Like, where did Stetson? Like, we put Stetson on such a high pedestal, right?
And he
But-
was not at first.
Right, but where did Stetson
Everybody
start?
hated him
Everybody
at
hated
first.
It
that
took
Stetson.
JT getting hurt
not.
and DeJuan Mathis getting hurt.
Yep.
In order for them to get Stetson in there.
Correct.
But yet Beck touted as this like the guy that's gonna just start off where Stetson left off.
Right.
And last year he had a better year, but again we ran the ball better. Our offensive line was better. It was almost easier to be Georgia's quarterback last year.
It was a
you know?
full complimentary football last year.
Yeah, and then this year you go into the season with you don't have a running back room. You don't. I mean, week 1, ETN wasn't even eligible, right? And so, in your offensive line, I genuinely think that Georgia's having some offensive line problems.
No, I agree. And I'm going to make this point of the running back room and shout out Parker Williams because you've said this multiple times. Losing Dale McGee has hurt so much more than we thought it would.
Yeah, but I think you're seeing the same thing in the secondary too with Fran Brown.
Oh, no. That's not Fran Brown. To me,
When did McGee leave?
Last 2 years. Last year.
last year.
So these are still the recruits, am I not right? Is that not right? These are the guys that Del McGee recruited, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And these are still the cornerbacks Fran Brown recruited. But
I-
there's a difference between bringing a kid in.
They're not
and
yet
executing
coaching
it.
them.
They're not getting that same coaching style.
Yeah.
Again,
Del McGee is
I'm
the
not
best
gonna look.
running
I'm not
back
gonna
coach in the
dive into
nation.
the whole running back thing
I'll stand with
because your pass game affects your run game. Our pass game is mediocre, and our
But
running
how
backs
much
are not
easier is it
healthy.
to throw the ball when you can run the ball?
I agree, but how much easier to run the ball when you're up and not chasing?
No, you're exactly right.
I know, but so all right. So next, go ahead. Last little take. From
Sorry, I was just
Right.
looking at your notes and what we had to go over the night. I don't know.
The next note's a good one. All right,
Okay.
Shout out Jason Rockmore for this one. Are you Georgia Tech fans buzzing out there? If Haynes King was the quarterback at the University of Georgia, we would be undefeated.
No.
You ready?
But on that, before we get to that, which two
No.
geniuses here picked Georgia Tech to beat Miami last week?
Let's go.
That would be me and him. And who doubted us? Because this man right here said it didn't matter if Haynes King played or not. Georgia Tech would not win. So now Georgia Tech
what's the
pulls off
kid's-
an upset, and we would be undefeated if Haynes King was there.
What's
Haynes King couldn't beat Syracuse.
the kid from Prince Avenue that's there now?
Brock,
The kid that broke Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah, what's his name?
Who's he play?
He's quarterback. Yeah, dude, he came in. They split. He came in and he was like their third string quarterback at the beginning of the year. He came in and oh my gosh, he was making throws. They had like third and forever, and bro's throwing it across the middle of the field. And Tech's in good hands, man.
Yeah. So what do you think? You think Haynes King at quarterback for University of Georgia? You think we could be undefeated?
No. Currently, what are the Georgia Bulldogs right now? 7-2.
Yeah.
The Georgia Bulldogs would be. It's gonna be controversial, but probably like 5-4.
Wow.
Can I give you something crazy right here?
Yeah.
When this was first brought up to me earlier this week, I was like, absolutely not. Or we would have recruited him. But I think the style of quarterback would definitely improve Georgia's offense. Right
That his style.
So are we talking about
No,
Zach
so-
Byron?
So I agree.
now. No, the other guy,
Aaron
Philo. Yeah, Philo.
No, I agree. Right, it would fit the style that Todd Monken ran, not Mike Bobo.
It's the same offense.
No, is it though?
It's the same offense, but they're not the same play callers. I think that's part of the issue too. Is you have
Yes.
different play callers.
That's
Yeah.
my thing. I feel like Stetson, whether we realize it or not, got a lot of design runs under
Well,
Monken.
I think that's how you.
That's what makes Alabama's offense.
I think that's how you fill in the gaps. Absolutely,
Yeah.
Alabama would not be
And
the offense that they were if Jalen Milroe
I'm
couldn't
not
tuck it
gonna
and
say,
run.
I'm not gonna say Bobo can't call that style because you guys know I'm the biggest Gunnar Stockton fan. What's up?
Can someone look up Lincoln Riley?
Is he available?
No. I think I just saw him. Lincoln Riley's like suspended for recruiting violations.
Okay, we'll look that up while we.
Wow.
While we dive into that, that's
doing
kinda crazy.
Let's go back to Bo's Haynes King point here. Haynes King was the starter back when they lost to Syracuse and got blown out by Louisville. If Haynes King can't beat those sorry teams, he is not coming into the SEC and winning Yeah,
those
games. Not happening.
He does
Sorry,
Horrible
take-
take.
sorry.
a better team.
Sorry, Jason Rockmore. Brandon's insulting your take.
Horrible take. I love
I-
that being said, I love Brent Key. Brent Key's the guy.
He
He's
is the
revived that program.
He is the
and Buster
guy.
Faulkner is that guy with the play calling.
I think we would be undefeated with Haynes King, but that's just me. And all right, so back to the point of Bobo can call that scheme. And you guys know I'm a huge Gunnar Stockton guy. I'm a massive Gunnar Stockton guy. I'm going to live and die by it, and until I see it. And I love Gunnar Stockton. Every time Gunnar Stockton's in, you see a complete different offensive scheme called for him. Against Florida State, you saw quarterback draws. You saw waggles happening. You saw optional plays for Gunnar to run the ball and use his feet. Last year against Florida State, dude came out, scored 2 touchdowns. Obviously, he was in a makeup role. Obviously, Florida State sucks.
Shout out Dale Hogan.
Gunnar Stockton's not going to get any kind of crucial playing time that we're going to see. So you just have to kind of read between the lines and just kind of see what he brings to the table. And when he runs the ball, it's impressive.
Yes.
It's impressive with his leadership. It's impressive what he can do. I don't understand the whole quarterback situation. And Kirby came out and said, Beck's our guy. Beck will always be our guy. He's going to be, our leader. Even Josh, Heupel was like, Carson Beck's the key to their ignition. So everybody's high on Beck. Everybody came into the year. Beck's supposed to be the best quarterback. Blah blah blah. He throws a great ball. Still don't think he's a great leader. I don't think he's a great leader. I think Haynes King was a guy that's a great leader. Whether you want to, say he's just not that or not, that's fine. I think Haynes King's the guy that puts his shoulder pad down to get that extra yard. I think he's a guy that can rally guys, and he's just like a talented field general. So, and I just don't get that from Beck, and I see that in Gunnar Stockton, and until we see Gunnar Stockton play, we won't know.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with him 100% on that. I think that Gunnar Stockton is a person that the team would rally behind because he will put his head down and go get those yards and all that.
Absolutely.
And I think he brings another dimension to our offense of that dual threat because you have to watch him run. But on a side note, your USC comment, they are suspended for 1 year probation for coaching violations and fined $50,000.
Dang.
But Lincoln Riley avoided suspension.
Okay. All right. I just saw it pop up. I didn't know. I do want to make a comment though about the Gunnar Stockton thing because we all have different opinions or whatnot. But here's what I am going to say: when I watch Gunnar Stockton play, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, I'm saying this is a positive thing, right? I don't necessarily like the releasing the ball out of the hand. I'm not a fan. I know he's a shorter guy. He's got to have a higher release. It's a different release.
It takes too long. It's
weird. But that being said, I think this is one of my hot takes tonight, and I've thought about this all day today. I think Gunnar Stockton is closer to Tim Tebow than a lot of people think.
That's a great take.
Let me see this because I'm excited because I know DB, you were calling him what the next freaking Gordon, Bryce Ramsey, whatever you want to call him.
But like,
And
No, he's not.
I know. We had that conversation this morning.
we did,
And
and I'm too hard on him because I don't like
the arm.
throwing action.
The arm is
I
weird.
don't.
You know who else's arm was weird? Phillip Rivers, and he played at the freaking San Diego Chargers for quite a long time, and he had a very unorthodox throwing
Oh,
action.
he did. Never won the
Right.
game, but he did.
And there's more. And Jesse, you know this. Everybody in this room knows this. There's a lot more to just throwing a football than playing quarterback. Because if throwing the football was the case, Carson Beck would be the number 1 pick.
Look, I'm just going to say this. One thing that y'all are forgetting about Haynes King knows how to win big games. And I understand you're bringing up like the Syracuse. Those are bad losses. But it's also on a Tech team that, like, honestly, if you stack up like
It's not an elite
Syracuse,
defense.
that's what I'm saying. If you stack up Syracuse's roster against Georgia Tech's roster, Syracuse probably has as good of a roster as them. And McCord balled out that day. I'll tell you this: Haynes King's the same kid who beat Bama at Texas A&M.
Yeah, no. So, like, here's my question then. While are we just talking about Haynes King's overall career, or just the Haynes King we've seen this year?
No, just talking about
Georgia
Haynes
Tech?
King, the
In general.
quarterback.
Okay,
He was on Georgia.
So him, the quarterback. So what are Haynes King's big wins? He won against Alabama while he was at A&M, correct?
His big win this year is Miami.
Miami.
Florida State
This is not a big
is
win.
not a good win.
Looking back at it now, that's not a good
That's
win.
not a
No, I'm not saying it's a good win. No, absolutely.
win.
No, it's a cool
At
win.
the
Right?
time, it
Ireland
was.
win.
Yeah, it was in Ireland.
In Ireland.
You don't just play football games in Ireland.
But outside of beating Miami, there's no good wins on there.
No,
There's none.
Texas. No, the Bama one
We're
back
talking
in the
about this
day.
year. I'm talking about like this year, though.
Right, but that's like a quarterback is
Hey,
more
hey,
than
hey,
just.
though.
Jesse, I have a question. That A&M team that beat Bama, how good was that defense for A&M?
Great defense.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember.
And they had an offense that could get the job done.
And an offense that wasn't bad.
Yeah. No, I look,
All right,
okay.
hold on.
Two things I'm going to say.
Okay.
One, that style of quarterback is what these teams are going to have to start going to. Your quarterback has to be, because defenses are getting better, right? And they're figuring out how to play in these rules. And so your quarterback has to be able to keep the ball and run. We're seeing this at every level right now. What makes Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, and even Pat Mahomes is doing it, right? Like, these dudes are running the ball. Georgia's got to get on board with that. You had it with Stetson. You won a national championship, okay? You don't have it with Beck,
No, I agree.
okay? And what frustrates me the most is that you were like, we've got a 5-star, and then we got another 5-star, and the 5-star that's sitting behind Beck is a dude that's been there for a long time, and if he doesn't understand the offense, then something's wrong. So he has to understand the offense. I know you say that he's closer to Tebow than what a lot of people probably understand.
He is.
When Tebow started at Florida, did he walk in day one the starting quarterback?
No.
No. Did he still play?
In schemes and packages, right?
Because why? They were like, we got to get this dude on the field.
Yep.
Okay. Georgia's not doing that with Gunner.
So
Tebow didn't have the number one projected quarterback in front of him.
Yep.
Tebow had a guy that was mediocre at best.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, I'll
And-
give you that. I'm
and
just saying,
Tebow
like,
was a different breed at the
if
time.
if Kirby's not, if you're not seeing that even become an option, okay? I mean, Sarkisian switched in the middle of a freaking game. All right. Carson Beck has thrown so many picks, and they just keep sending Buddy out there.
Mhm.
But so
I mean, is there there's not faith in him?
no, I agree. But
Look,
then,
speaking of,
like, yeah, but like again, I think this speaks more to we look at it as a negative, but I think for like a high level quarterback, man, I view that as like almost a positive. Like this guy is so loyal to this quarterback when he's doing so bad.
look up the quarterback in 1996 for Georgia.
So one thing that I think
Was it Mike Bobo?
Yeah. Nah, it might have been.
No, it can't be Bobo.
No, that's too early. That's no.
That's
Look
when
it-
Kirby
look it
was
up.
right.
Look it up.
Kirby
Finish your
was there in
statement, but I do
96.
want to know that.
It was Mike Bobo.
No way.
Oh, let me see that.
Wait, so here.
So all right. So
Yeah, just for context,
Yes.
Georgia, we got ESPN on because Spice has a parlay rolling tonight on some action,
I do.
and they're going through Georgia's struggles right now. And this stat popped up: 12 interceptions in the last game for Beck are the most for a Georgia quarterback since 1996, and that's where who was the quarterback in 1996 came up.
So I
Mike.
made this point on the podcast last week before it got
Well, Mike,
deleted
you-
because someone.
Why this makes sense?
Hey, listen to this. I think this
I'm
is a
so
great
sorry.
point.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I made this point last week before someone swallowed a mic and we had to delete everything. But I think the reason that Carson Beck will not be pulled this whole year is because of NIL. The amount of money that the boosters spent to bring this dude back to play football for us, I mean, he's those boosters control. I love Kirby. Them boosters have way more power than you think they do.
Oh, agreed.
And if you look at it, the amount of money we had to spend to get this kid to come back, you're going to rock with him no matter what. And one more thing. That point you just made about the running quarterback, the best point you've made, and I mean, a great point. Because what has EA Football 25 taught us anything, Bo?
you're right.
If you don't have a good rushing quarterback, you're not going to be as successful.
Just gonna get some heat on this conversation.
No, I'm just gonna say that you're like, you make a good point. Georgia paid Beck a bunch of money. You can't pull a dude who's driving around Athens in a Lambda. Okay, it's a bad look. Flip side of that is, if Gunnar Stockton was the dude, why would you have paid Beck millions upon millions of dollars to come back and be Georgia's quarterback? I'm just being honest, right?
So here's the other thing, and me and my dad talk about this quite frequently, and I believe this. Kirby Smart is in practice every day. He sees every day. There's a reason that Gunnar Stockton is not starting, but I would also argue Gunnar Stockton is going against the Georgia's #1 defense every day.
There was an interview with Jamon Dumas Johnson that said Gunnar Stockton was on the scout team and was giving them ulcers every day in practice. Stetson Bennett would have never been looked that way if JT Daniels didn't.
Exactly, and I think that's
I don't
the thing.
care.
Kirby
I don't
Smart
care.
is too loyal to people.
Kirby Smart is a loyal guy. That's why Mike Bobo will be here next year. Kirby Smart is a very loyal guy. Okay, and Kirby. I mean, you can be my kid's godfather, right? I mean, like, your jersey's on my wall. I love you. But there's been some controversial QB situations in the past. Okay, whether it's the Jake Fromm, Justin Fields, different situations, Stetson Bennett,
Both had the
JT
same
Daniels.
career, though.
Correct. So it's still like it's a coin flip of your quarterback reading ability. And I mean, yes, you can read a quarterback better than anybody in this room, probably all four of us combined.
Yeah.
But the fact that it doesn't pass our eye test, and it's frustrating to see Carson Beck struggle. And Gunnar Stockton, okay, so why did they pay Carson Beck so much money to come back? Because Carson Beck had a great year. Carson Beck had a promising year that said, hey, I can be the number one pick in the draft. That's why he was projected.
Yep.
That's why Carson laid out all three that I talked about in that little segment I made on Saturday. All three of his things were what? First round pick,
To the CFL.
Heisman,
And Natty.
and a natty. Okay. Well, he's already missed the first two. All right. So how long do we leave him in until he misses all three?
Think about being a guy who had a Carson Beck for Heisman ticket. Couldn't have been me.
Yeah.
It was me.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, like, so I go back to this and expectations for Carson Beck, right? One of the favorite things I heard about Harbaugh, and I know they cheated Stallions. They definitely cheated, right? But Harbaugh always had two goals, and it was never to win a national title. And I think that's why he had so much more success, although he did cheat near the end of his career once he established the correct culture there. It was he had two goals. Beat Ohio State. Or no, I'm sorry, this was Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer said this. I'm completely wrong. Urban Meyer said this while he was at Ohio State. It was to beat the team up north, and it was to win the Big Ten. That was their two goals. And in doing so, they didn't win a national championship, right? So I think expectations for Carson Beck is he put so much on his plate and on himself that I've been in that boat before, right? Like, I know, Bo, you've been in that boat before, right? When you put yourself in this position where you have the absolute highest of highest expectations and you start failing little at a time, you crumble so fast. And I think that's really what we've seen is this guy has lost. Like, I'm not going to hit what it feels like right now. One goal is still very possible.
The Natty's doable.
Natty's still
gonna
doable. I don't
take an
care what
act of
anyone
God.
says. But, like, all these goals and pressure he put on himself has made him crumble from within.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so
He's shrinking.
yeah, I'll say this: like we've been going for a while, so I think we need to do our
Let's
little
do a
top
final take.
25.
Let's do a
Let's do our
final
final
take.
take, and then let's do our
Yeah.
top 25 games of the week.
I got one thing, and then we can do that. So go ahead. You want to run through
Yeah,
this real
let's
quick?
go
Okay.
for it.
Legit or not? Okay, that's what the segment's called. Legit or not? Okay. Mike Bobo, legit or not?
No.
I'm undecided. I'm leaning towards no. Carson Beck, legit or not?
No.
No.
Without elite talent, no.
I'll let you answer first.
No.
Hold up, look. Hey, this is breaking. Oh, never mind. I thought this was the new rankings. They have us outside the top 12. That's crazy.
Yeah, Georgia's at 13th. So just because that,
But that's this Trevor guy's projected thing. The bracket
Oh, yeah,
should be out.
Trevor's
Trevor's 853.
yeah, it probably should. Okay, I'm gonna say no, due to his mental confidence, because that just tells me alone he's not. You would never saw Tim Tebow or Johnny Manziel have ever had mental confidence like that. You would have saw some other things from Johnny Manziel mentally. It wouldn't have been confidence though. But dude, if you're that guy, you're that guy. So I'm gonna say no. All right, our backup quarterbacks, are they gonna be legit or not?
Legit.
Yes.
Legit.
Yeah, I think Puglisi or Rashada could be a stud.
Again, Gunnar Stockton, I'm gonna get you on this show one day. I promise it's gonna happen. My buddy Chase Horton from Ravens gonna get this to happen. They're tight friends, and I want you to just beat him up. And I'll just laugh and enjoy it.
I will let you beat me up.
Yeah. As you win, you're natty. Okay. Next one. This guy's year has been a little bit of a hiccup, and I've heard some people kind of, people that we work with saying, I don't think he's as good as people thought he was. Malachi Starks, legit or not?
Oh my God.
Legit.
Whoever you work with that says that has the football IQ of 0. Legit. First round draft pick.
Hey.
No discussion.
Very, very, very legit. And I think, because the guy was making points like, you've seen him get burnt a few times, which you haven't seen the past few years.
But he's playing every position on the field, man.
He's having to play
going
punt.
like
He's having to play punt returner
Yeah,
now.
he's
He's
doing
not a punt
everything.
returner.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah, his role's increased.
Huge.
Yeah,
So,
he's
Legit. Anybody who says he's not
Very
knows
legit.
nothing.
Very legit. Okay, very legit. All right, and then the last guy, Nate Frazier. Legit or not?
Legit.
Very, very legit.
yeah, you know what I think. He's the best running back on the team.
Yes. He's huge on him. Okay.
Legit. He's better than ETN.
Legit. Okay, very legit. I'd argue that, but we don't have time to argue that.
We don't have time for that. So,
Legit. All right, so let's go ahead and finish this thing up. What you got for us?
game number 1. Them balls are coming to Athens.
Oh.
I think it's going to be a close game. I do not think Georgia covers a 10-point spread, but I will, like I said last week, I said last week when this got deleted that there's been one team that worries me all year, and if we're going to drop a game, it would be to Ole Miss. Well, that obviously happened. I think that I will never pick against my own team. Georgia wins, but Tennessee covers 10.
Georgia is about to commit first-degree murder. Georgia is going to, and this is not me saying something. This is a promise. Tennessee will not put up more than 9.5 points. I'm sold on this.
Clip that.
So you're taking the lower
I'm
on
clipping
9.5.
that, by
Take
the
it
way.
lower on that. That's fine.
I'm going to clip
That's fine.
this.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But
No.
I have faith.
I'm clipping this.
You have to
But-
come back on next
But
week.
you know, I will.
Yeah. Oh, no,
And
you're
I'm
back.
gonna say
You're
this:
back. You've earned it right.
this defense
Body.
that is being hassled and doubted because of the freaking offense, right, is about to come out with a chip on their shoulder, and they're gonna force. You heard it here first. 3 or 4 turnovers. That's gonna put an offense in position to score at least.
What a take.
24
What a
points.
take,
What
dude.
a
What a
take.
All right, they're about to come out and put this Nico freaking ukulele Umadala freaking Audi 3000.
Ian Maliaba.
I don't matter what he is. All right, but they're gonna put him.
I
on
can't
a
make a
watch.
soccer comment.
All right, they're gonna put him on a watch. All right, and that's just really I don't know how to say his last name. That's why I said all that. No respect.
Emil
disrespect to the kid.
Alaba.
See, even like, come on now, I can't pronounce these.
Yeah.
All right, but like, no, I think Georgia's gonna handle them.
All right, Georgia. I got Georgia.
Retweet dogs.
Yeah, I got Georgia. Next one.
I thought that Ohio State Northwestern.
Oh my gosh, give me good games.
This is top 25. We did
Ohio
the top
State.
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Texas and Arkansas. Texas.
Texas.
Arkansas. Woo! Pig!
Oh
Sam Pittman's
my
greatest
God.
victory is about to happen on Saturday.
No, Sam Pittman's greatest victory is going to happen when he gets fired from Arkansas and he gets to come back to UGA to be our offensive line coach.
Thank God. Speak it into existence.
Arkansas 27-24.
Oh,
my God.
okay.
Actually,
All right.
Arkansas too? Over
All right.
Texas?
Not a
It's
good
got to
offense.
be another first-degree murder.
No,
You guys
Arkansas
understand
is
this, right?
Steve Sarkisian.
It is
I
going
know
to be a
you're
first-degree
not that
murder.
far away from those meetings.
Oh my gosh!
All right,
He
here's
knows one when he sees one. Well,
here's here's a top
Next.
25 matchup. Clemson and Pitt.
Dabo Sweeney's going under freaking fire. That's a dumpster fire. Give me Pitt by 3 scores.
Okay, that is crazy.
Give me the Clemson Tigers.
I'm gonna go Clemson, but it's gonna be close.
Clemson.
All right.
Wait, hold on. A quick. This is kind of funny. I have a quick little funny story about Dabo Sweeney. I'll make this like a 10-second thing. We played a travel ball baseball game when I was 10 years old against his travel team. And at first base, I missed a pick on a ball and it hit me smack in the eye and it knocked me out on the ground. I opened my eyes and I'm being straddled by Dabo Sweeney right above me, checking on my eye. So, give me Dabo Sweeney on there.
No, I'm not a
Appreciate
Dabo
the
fan
man.
at all.
Yeah. Utah, Colorado.
Love you, Dabo.
Colorado.
I'm going to have to go. And it pains me to say this, but Colorado and Travis Hunter will be the difference maker.
You said Utah and Colorado?
Yes.
Utah.
Yeah, give me Utah.
Crazy. That's crazy. Mercer and Bama. Bama.
Bama.
Big. Massive.
Give me the Mercer.
Shout out Ryan McNally at Mercer, but Bama.
No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding. I'm just kidding.
sorry,
Take it back.
Ryan.
Give me Bama.
Trip somebody.
Jesse says Mercer. Now he's changing to Bama.
Yeah, he was joking.
Penn State, Purdue. Penn State,
Penn State.
big.
Penn State.
Penn State by 35.
I wish Purdue was good again.
Virginia and Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Virginia just
Spread is 23.
Notre Dame.
Spread's 23 on that game?
Notre Dame wins, does not cover.
Yeah, I'm Notre Dame wins on a walk-off field goal.
I could see that.
Yeah, give me Notre Dame.
Cool take, dude.
All right. This is arguably the favorite to win the ACC right now. SMU undefeated in ACC play. Boston College.
Give me SMU.
SMU.
Pony Express is back, baby.
Man. Dude,
SMU.
give me SMU just because they were the first ones to cheat and they made it cool first.
Yeah.
So SMU.
They're also the first ones to get caught.
SMU.
All right, now we have Florida LSU.
LSU.
Is DJ back?
If DJ plays, give me the Gators at home.
If DJ plays, still give me LSU. Not even close. LSU.
I'm about to say,
I
if
think-
DJ plays, give me LSU
Yeah.
by 35.
I think this game is bigger than everyone realizes because I think both coaches. I know they're saying Billy's back next year, but both are on bigger hot seats than we think.
LSU's on a hot seat.
I think Brian Kelly's on a hot seat more than you think, dude. Those
I agree.
folks are crazy, but I'm gonna take LSU.
Think about it. They fired Orgeron the year after he won a natty.
Yeah, but Orgeron was a bad coach.
Okay.
Orgeron, they
Brian
caught
Kelly
lightning.
can't win a big football game to save his life.
Okay.
Next game.
All right.
Don't talk about South Jesus that way.
Louisville, Stanford. Louisville.
Louisville, Stanford.
You have South Carolina taking on number 24 Missouri, and
No,
South
South
Carolina's a
Carolina.
12-point favorite. South Carolina.
I've doubted them so many times. South Carolina.
Dude, Beamer's got himself a team.
Yeah,
If he
South
can learn how to
Hey,
coach
who
football, they'd like be
If
good.
Beaver could understand the X's
Hey.
and O's, it'd be really.
Who took South Carolina last week and who didn't? Yeah. Who took Vandy last week?
Sorry,
that's
sorry,
okay.
I took America's second team.
Boise State and San Jose State.
Oh my gosh. What did you say?
Boise, JT.
Genty. Yep.
Yeah, give me Ashton Genty running.
This
against
is
future
going to be a
plumbers.
great game. What'd you say?
Oh, he said.
I said, give me Ashton Genty running against future plumbers.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Great matchup here. Arizona State 7-2. Big bounce back for them against Kansas State.
Kansas State. I picked against Kansas State earlier, but I'm going to go in this game.
I love Dillingham, even though he's like 5'5". Give me Arizona State.
Yeah,
I'm on Arizona State.
I'll go Kansas State.
I want Arizona State just because I like that vibe. I like
Yeah.
that team.
Dude, Arizona's cool.
So
The running
Arizona's
back's
cool.
last name is Scadaboo. I mean, what a legend.
That guy is legit, by the way. At any moment, he can break away from it.
All right. Oregon, Wisconsin. Oregon big.
Yeah, Oregon's legit.
Texas A&M, New Mexico State. Texas A&M huge.
Top 20 this week sucks.
Yeah. Iowa State and Cincinnati.
Iowa State.
Iowa State.
Cincinnati.
Iowa State. Wow.
Cincinnati. Iowa State is literally on a freaking hard-nosed plummet right now.
They have been
I
playing
agree,
bad.
but I'm going to give Iowa State.
They still win.
Cincinnati, they have 2 losses, correct?
Cincinnati's 5-4.
5-4. Now, I will say this: Cincinnati is like, I believe, 7 points away from having 3 more wins.
Yep. All right. Washington
Yeah,
State
yeah.
and New Mexico. Washington State.
Yeah.
New Mexico.
Oh my gosh.
Dumb.
I'm going to back him up. New Mexico.
Let's go!
Give me New Mexico. Give me New Mexico on the upset.
It's that side of the freaking room.
Give me New Mexico
Washington
on the upset.
State.
I'm
Who are you
all
on,
in. I'm
Jesse?
all in with
Washington
that.
State.
All right. Last top 25 matchup, and then we're going to do the Falcons also. BYU, Kansas. Do not doubt the Mormons.
Dude.
Y'all have doubted them all year.
Who
You
did
doubted them
Kansas
last
beat
week.
I don't know, but Jaden, whatever, played really good
Yeah.
football. That being said,
Kansas beat Iowa State by 9 last week.
Yeah, they did. Now, that being said,
BYU.
the Big 12 definitely has a little bit of scandalous things going on because BYU should have lost to Utah.
They should have.
Maybe you should have, so that's why I'm taking BYU.
Yep. BYU.
Big 12's going to do anything they can to have 1 2 minutes.
Yeah, did you see it's like the only time I've ever seen an athletic director go to the post game interview and he just got up there and he was like, they stole that game. I will be in contact with the BYU or the Big 12 commissioner.
I believe that referee that made the call was also fired from the Pac-12. I could be totally wrong, but I felt like I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, no, that was
That's a good rumor.
Yeah.
that was cheap. And
What was the
and
game again?
BYU,
Kansas and
Kansas.
BYU. BYU's good, but we saw earlier in the season too they had to come back, right?
One was against Cincinnati.
Yeah,
What's our
it's-
pick?
I'm on BYU.
BYU.
dude, I think I'm on Kansas. If Kansas can play like they did last week, I mean, Kansas should be able to run the ball on anybody.
I
They're
agree.
loaded with
No,
athletes.
I agree.
But-
the issue is it's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Give me the Fighting Tornadoes. Jayhawks.
What?
Kansas. Dude, 'cause
Oh, Kansas Tornadoes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Hey,
ain't no love in Oklahoma. Just the whistle of a long brown train.
Last game. The Falcons go to Denver to take on the Broncos, who
Oh.
should have arguably just beat the Chiefs, block last second field goal, but that's who are we taking?
We're
at Denver.
Well, Bo Nix is going to have PTSD seeing Atlanta across the thing after his last time he went to Atlanta anyways. So give me the Falcons by 20 plus.
Okay, that is wild.
Okay, last time the Falcons.
It's
played
in Denver
terrible-
though. It's not.
That doesn't matter. Last time Atlanta played very terrible offensively was against Seattle Seahawks. The next week that offense came out and proved a statement against.
They didn't play good last week.
Okay. So you're taking the Falcons by.
Oh yeah, I'm taking the Falcons by a lot.
Go ahead.
No, I want y'all. You're first.
No, I got a hot take for this. Go ahead.
I hate to say it, but I think the Broncos might beat them. But
So is that?
I refuse to bet against my own team, so give me the Falcons. But do not be surprised if the Broncos beat them.
I don't know. I mean, Pat Surtain is legit, and the offense did struggle last game. But I still think the Falcons have a better team, and so I think the Falcons are gonna win.
Falcons have a better team, but Bo Nix is starting to figure it out. He's starting to get his feet under him in the NFL. He's playing good football. I don't care. The Broncos are not good, but he's good. I think I said it when they got drafted. Jaden Daniels was the best quarterback in that draft, and Bo Nix was number 2. All right. No, I agree with it.
Don't say that little sissy from Washington.
Yeah,
Michael Penix Jr. was number 2.
Michael Penix Jr. will never play football until he's 32 and he gets traded to the Saints.
Yeah.
And he tears his ACL again.
And also,
When that happens,
Worst pick ever.
Also, Phoenix, just so you know, when he was in college, never once beat a top 30 defense. So you expect him to be good in the NFL? That's funny.
No.
So, I didn't think Phoenix is good, but just Kirk Cousins, it was a dumb pick. All right, but we're not going to get into that right now.
Hold on. Bo Nix is not playing bad because Sean Payton is doing a wonderful job of managing.
Sean Payton's a great quarterback.
He is. He's doing a wonderful job right now.
Bo
He's
Nix-
keeping him safe.
Bo Nix fits his
And
style.
he's letting him be an athlete.
Yes.
But he couldn't manage Russ. Russ is going to do what Russ wants to do, and it just clashed with their systems.
No.
Well,
Drew Brees
Bo
is
Nix
Sean Payton.
is playing good football. And he's really lethal on this
We should
team.
predict that one next.
Good. That being said, I think Young Hoku. What is that? I can't even see it. Oh, I'm sorry. I saw it. I think Young Hoku kicks a 60-yard field goal.
Dude, how awesome that
A 60-yard plus field goal in that Denver air, and I think we win the game by a small margin. But I think Young Hoku's gonna win us again.
Yeah, I don't think people understand how hard it is to win in the NFL. Like every team has dudes, and like you see that with the Falcons are on such a hot streak. Saints, you go to the Saints. Saints are on a bad streak, and the Saints win. The Saints played great. You put who would have thought if you put MVS on the same field as Derek Carr, next thing you know they're dropping 50-yard bombs in the bucket.
Yeah, I think the Saints played really good. I also think the Falcons played absolutely terrible.
The Falcons blew.
Well, they
that game
did.
for
They
4 missed
couldn't-
field goals.
Yeah.
I mean, the Falcons had opportunities to win that game, but again, it's hard to win in the
You're
NFL.
Falcons?
Yeah,
I'm Falcons.
Yeah.
Falcons.
Falcons.
Yeah, are we
We're all
don't-
30 birds.
Yeah, we're all Falcons.
Okay, we're on 30 birds. That's our last game,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
All right.
Are we done with picks?
Yes.
We're done with picks. You got any kind of closing statements you want to make?
Yes. Listen, Kirby, listen. Okay,
He's listening too.
let me come to the facility. Okay, let me sit down with you. Okay, we'll play some NCAA.
Oh wait. You gotta call out Bobo first. Call out Bobo.
We'll play some NCAA. You can watch me play call. You tell me if I'm worthy or not to play
Yeah,
Bobo.
okay, I'm
And
sorry,
look,
I'm sorry.
I do want to say this. I'm not a Bobo hater. I'm not a Gunnar Stockton hater. I want anybody who's
You want the
associated.
Dogs to be
I was gonna
successful.
say I want anybody who's associated with Georgia
Genius,
football.
man. Who's got
But
Bobo?
my problem is, okay, I thought Gunnar was the dude too. But when you see your quarterback throw 12 picks, I want to see somebody else come in there and light it up. We're the University of Georgia, okay? We recruit the best players in the nation regardless of position, okay? The fact that we haven't seen that, I'm asking questions. And one of those questions is, they're watching Gunnar every day in practice. What are they not seeing to make them think that he can go in there and do better than that?
I'd
Okay?
like an answer too.
Also, the flip side is, it's not all on Bobo. Bobo's not out there throwing picks. Bobo's not missing blocks or fumbling the football, okay? But if I see another empty set, Bobo, there's nothing harder in the game of football than to be a quarterback in an empty set with 5 wide.
Hey,
And you're dude, your dude's throwing picks, man, and you're saying, get back out there. And by the way, there's not a running back.
The Dogs
Okay.
are dropped to number 12 in the new rankings.
Dogs.
Oh, yeah, we're good.
Dogs
We're good.
Finish the show with that.
But there's just things that I've seen that, like, dude, you can't do that. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, there's got to be somebody else out there that can come in and re-energize. And there's got to, this sounds horrible, okay? You have to blame somebody because the numbers are not as good. And it's got to be somebody's fault. Although it's a group effort, you can't fire everybody, right? And you're not going to fire Bobo. Bobo's going to become an analyst. He's going to be a dude in the box who's going to help, all right? But you've got to go and get the next guy up. Kirby, you have to take a chance. Stop doing the comfortable thing, all right? You got so lucky with Stetson Bennett, and you didn't even want that to happen. You got so lucky. So take a chance. Let Bobo be an analyst. You still have his input. You can still stay loyal to your guy. But you owe it to your fan base and the legacy of Georgia football to go and get a Joe Brady or, a dude like
Joe
Indiana
Brady
got
would be
Tom
crazy.
Signetti from the James Madison in their freaking 10-0. Go get Buster Faulkner.
Yeah, but Joe Brady would be wild.
Go hire Del McGee back to be your offensive coordinator. I mean, go get somebody that can make you be successful.
I got another one more. Then we're done.
I got mine.
Okay, go ahead.
Will Muschamp.
Where's he at?
I miss you.
I miss you too.
I know
miss
you're
him
a
so
Vanderbilt
much.
watching your son, and I'm so happy for him. But please, your secondary, Kirby, Nickel, and Schumann need you desperately back.
We do need you. And did y'all see who the Bears just hired as their offensive coordinator?
yes.
Oh, it's what's his name?
Legendary
Georgia running back.
Thomas Brown.
Yeah, Thomas Brown.
I didn't
Yeah.
know he was even
TV.
in that field.
Yeah.
Could that be something that gets leaked later in life? That TB makes a return back to his home to be like an assistant OC that takes on the job?
Yeah, but he's gonna have success with the Browns, so he's probably not.
Bears.
Yeah, or the Bears. He's probably not gonna be coming back to college football.
Would be kind of cool if he did though.
Well,
But
Dude, there's a young dude out there you can go and get. There is. Like, I'm being
Joe
honest,
Brady would
there is.
be freaking
Brady.
awesome.
Joe Brady's with the Panthers, right?
Go get Kellen Moore.
Joe Brady was with the Bills.
Go get Kellen Moore from Boise, right? Yeah, go get Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore's.
Brandon, is there anything else you'd like to add right before we end this right now?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, guys, I think that was, again, I think every week we're getting better and better at this. And I hope Dave Portnoy sees this and we can get our own segment one day. And we can stop teaching. This was good. DB, you have that seat forever as long as you want it because this was a very good. I love Brandon's
You're asking
fire.
for it, DB.
I love Brandon's fire and his emotion. I love Jesse's smart remarks and his just wittiness. And I love DB's just passion for understanding, his parlays.
And we love and we love you letting us crash your house every Tuesday night.
Yeah,
What a nice guy.
Anytime. This is a lot of fun. I think this is going well. Please leave a comment for everybody that's watching this. Hot Dog Sports.
By the way,
Catch you again next week.
the debate's not over. Nobody won tonight regarding elite defenses
We
being
won,
able
DB.
to win
Come on.
championships.
Call it an
I
episode.
disagree.
Win.
Yeah.
Win.
You're in company of two.